You guys, is Festival Lead real? I have to ask. I have to hope. I hope it's real. We're actually seeing some Festival Lead in 2025. Festival Lead, this meme deck turned maybe not so much meme deck, can actually be used now, maybe. Because, alright, we're gonna see some cards. We're gonna learn first about Festival Lead, what it started as with this Dipplin. Festival Lead is an ability on Festival Pokemon, and I'm talking Dipplin because he's a candied apple, I'm talking about Swirlex because it's cotton candy, and I'm talking about Goldeen because it's a fish. You can win at the Omatsuri, which is the festival. Festival Lead says if Festival Grounds is in play, which is the stadium, this Pokemon may use an attack it has twice. Okay, eyebrows raised, double attack on Dipplin here. And not only that, but if the attack KOs the opponent's Pokemon, they're active, you can attack again still on the new promoted Pokemon. So there is no way around this double attack on Dipplin. So now the question is, okay, what does Dipplin have cooking as the attack? Well, for 1 grass energy, it can do the Wave. It hits 20 for each of your benched Pokemon. Now, that is a total of 100 damage if you have a bench of 5. I guess you can expand the bench with Area 0, but we're not going to build it that way, really. But we have 5 bench Pokemon hitting for 100 damage, and then if that stadium's in play, we're hitting for 100 more, so that's 200. Now that on its own is not what makes this totally viable. We're gonna have in the deck and go over in the deck, and the gameplay that we're gonna see and the deck lists, how we're gonna bump those numbers up to actually hit huge numbers, because it is possible. Now, the other key component, though, is gonna be our Thwackey. So Thwackey has Boom Boom Groove. What a name for this ability. Basically, once during your turn, if your active Pokemon has the Festival Lead ability, then you're able to just go look for a card. Just go find a card. Doesn't have to be a specific type, just a card. So powerful. Who needs Pidgeotty X when you have Thwackey, am I right? Well, you do have to have that Festival Lead in the lead, but that's fine. Once you do, this is how we're going to get this deck to like function well enough to find the exact pieces we need to be able to refill and continue going forward, you know? So like not only are we finding pieces for the turn, but we can set up for future turns, like just stabilize, all that. So Thwackey's important. The other super key card is Festival Grounds. Like we need the venue, obviously. We have to have Festival Grounds because, not because it's a good card, but because Dipplin needs it. We need it for the festival, you know? It's our venue. Basically, it does have the effect of if your Pokemon have energy attached, it's both yours and your opponent's, then they can't be affected by special conditions, which is, you know, that could come up. But really, we're just having the venue for Dipplin so he can then double attack, just slam for big numbers. How are we doing this, though? So, like, the whole reason I'm visiting this deck again because I saw the rumblings of it in Japan already. Now, with it came with these new cards, like the Bangle. So this is a new tool card coming for non-EX Pokemon to utilize. This thing, if attached, lets you do 30 more damage to your opponent's active EX Pokemon. So this is going to be a way for Dipplin to start hitting for 230. 230 can hit good amount of stuff, but we're going to have more damage to play around with. Basically, here's the list, though, that I saw when it was introducing these new cards, getting upgrades, making this thing a little more viable. We're going to look at more deck lists, don't worry, but this one you can see the Dipplins as the main players, as well as the Thwackey engine. We have 1 Rillaboom. Sometimes I see a Rillaboom in there for Thwackey to evolve into, sometimes not so much. Then we see the Bangle to be able to use as a tool card. We also have the supporter Hilda, who is a new card coming. She helps you find 1 evolution Pokemon and 1 energy card. That's going to be really handy if we want to find a Dipplin or a Thwackey really fast. Then we can also grab energy with it. So that is a nice supporter card if you need it. But you can see with the A-Spec, we still have more ways to output damage. But here's supporters. So here's more supporters that can help with our damage output. So supporters like Kieran is going to be really helpful in also allowing us to hit for bigger numbers. Kieran has a cool effect where you can choose one. You can either switch your active with a bench Pokemon, and that has relevancy here and there, of course. But like the second one is really where the money is if we want Dipplin taken down Behemoths. During this turn, attacks used by your Pokemon do 30 more damage to your opponent's active EX or V. The V is not so relevant, but EX, we can see the same thing on a supporter as the Brave Bangle. Another supporter that's not in that list specifically, but you could utilize or know that is out there, is going to be Black Belt's Training. This one lets you do the same thing, but it's 40 extra damage. Awesome stuff. I mean, 240, if you're able to hit that, you're hitting Raging Bolt, you're hitting other key Pokemon, and we can keep going from there. We can add Maximum Belt as the ace spec. Maximum Belt is a tool card that you can use to get 50 extra damage out. So you can kind of start to see this damage piling up, but like that list is one, but there are other ways to build this festival lead deck, including a deck list and a build we saw at NAIC. Well, it did participate. A look here, festival lead NAIC. This was piloted by Jared Grimes, awesome, iconic, to 340th place, which is awesome. That's definitely a deck I did not see coming into the event, but this one is a little bit different. We can look at the cards here. We have our Dipplin, of course, our apples. We also have 2 Hydrapple, not Hydrapple EX, Hydrapple from Destined Rivals. Hydrapple from Destined Rivals is it's new, it's very new, and it has an interesting attack. It has for 1 grass energy, you get to, if you have 6 energy cards in your hand, grass energy, discard them, and then just knock out your opponent's active. Just point blank, delete them. I love cards that do that. Usually it comes with a high cost, and this could be a high cost in getting 6 cards in your hand, but as you see through the deck and the gameplay that we're going to look at, getting to that is not as difficult as it may initially seem, and it's really fun. So Hydrapple's a really fun inclusion, I like that. I also saw that it was utilizing the Rabska protection. So Rabska is a stage 1 Pokemon that you can use to protect the bench from damage and effects. Other deck lists might opt to use Shaman, who can only protect against damage, but it's still really useful. But I can see the utility in Rabska, especially if you're seeing a lot of Dragapults and stuff. You gotta keep these guys okay. They have such low HP. As for supporters, we have a 4 of Arven. Arven is, of course, going to help find tool cards that we need. In this deck, the tool card that helps with damage as well is going to be Vitality Band. Vitality Band is a tool card that, when attached, lets you do 10 extra damage to your opponent's active. Note that this one does not stipulate that it has to be an EX Pokemon. This one can be just on there, and hitting for 210 means hitting support EX Pokemon like Tealmask Ogerpon. Really good still. I mean, you can hit, even without that, Dipplin can hit other support ones like Squawkabilly and Mew EX and Clefairy EX, things that are under 200 HP. You can understand we can hit that thing. So cool. We also see Lana's Aid to help get back some energy and some Pokemon if we need to from the discard. We also see some Gusting with Boss's Orders. So fun. We see Hassle. Hassle is not often used, but it is here, and I like the not often used cards, and Hassle seems kind of decent. You look at the top 8 of your cards of your deck, you pick 3 and put them right into your hand. Really nice there. Now, we also have the A-Spec being the Max Rod. I know I sound like a broken record, but I'll say it again. Not a card often seen as much. Now, this thing allows you to grab up to 5 Pokemon and basic energy from your discard to your hand. I'm sure you can remember our Hydrapple. If you can pull this off, get 5 from the discard into your hand and then just need an extra one for a Hydrapple KO, maybe you can gun for that and do it. But, you know, if you're able to pull things off like that, it's so fun. This deck is really fun. I loved playing with it, and I can't wait to play around with it more. As for other deck lists, though, we can see other builds. It's kind of really worked out. Like I said, sometimes you're seeing different Rillaboom, like an inclusion of it, but sometimes you see the odd little thing of the Goldeen Sea King being used as the lead in our festival lead. That is pretty unique, I think. There's also a variety of A-Specs being utilized, like Unfair Stamp is popping up in some deck lists, and all of these are very recent, too. This is like 615, 614, like, so people are actively playing the deck, and I think it's gonna be exciting. I'm not saying it's gonna be a huge meta contender, but I'm saying if you haven't played this deck before, maybe you should give it a try just for the fun aspect, because it really is really fun, I have to say. And with that, I guess we can go into some gameplay now. Alright, so let's go ahead and get into some gameplay. This is going to be on 2x speed. This first one is Raging Bolt versus Dipplin. You're going to see a Raging Bolt takedown. For this first turn, I know how easily Raging Bolt can get off a donk or turn, like, you know, their first turn attacking, so went ahead and retreated into the Grookey in the active and passed. Now, on the Raging Bolt side, you're gonna see it kind of was disastrous eventually. We're gonna go through it. So on this opening hand first turn, the first step is going to be playing down an S-Ball to get some support Pokemon. The support Pokemon being like the engine, like the Hoots and the Noctowl and whatnot. And also looking through the deck. I still have Squawkabilly in this deck. I don't use it as much, but like I could get the, there we go, the Fan Rotom is the usual grab. So with the Fan Rotom, grab some Hoots as well, and if you're a competent Raging Bolt player or Noctowl enjoyer, you're gonna know that you have to have a Terra Pokemon in play in order to use Noctowl. Now, I'm saying this as a spoiler, but, you know, I had trouble finding Tealmask Ogerpon for a sec, and you'll see as we progress this board state, and it kind of was going wayward a little. It was a little clunky. So this Iono, imagining I'm gonna get some Tealmask action going on, which is pretty good to assume. We shuffle both. Since it's so early in the game, no one has taken prizes. It's basically a shuffle draw 6 for each player, and then we can go ahead and look at the hand and see how much further we can get with the turn. How can we progress the board state? We can put down Nestball to go find our Tealmask Ogerpon or whoever we want. And there we go, our usual guy. Now, Tealmask Ogerpon, of course, is really great in the deck to help with getting energy onto it with its Teal Dance ability, which we do here. We attach a grass, draw a card. Now, from there, deciding not to, let's see, I think just taking it slow and passing off. There wasn't a way to get more energy to Raging Bolt and into the discard, so it was a pass. On the other side, kind of capitalizing on that, let's get the bench full. So here's Grookey. Buddy Buddy Poffit is really helpful, gonna be good to help fill the bench. We need to fill that bench anyway, and we need to get these little guys out because they will get kind of squashed if they are in the fire of Raging Bolt. For sure. Now, Raging Bolt has trouble sometimes, I think, with these small single prize decks, but you'll see kind of how that, like, clunkiness can get in the way. So, I know, I'm kind of spoiling. Now, from the hand, we can play out our bug catching set if we so desire. We can use that to look at the top 7 and then get a 2 in any combo of Pokemon and energy. This is an all Pokemon hand of the 7, so we're gonna grab some evolution Pokemon, our Dipplins. Now, Dipplin is gonna be good. Now, Grookey is in the active spot. We're gonna want to try and evolve Grookey and try and get Dipplin into the active and get things going, but there's the evolution there. We have 1 energy to attach, potentially. We have Thwackey. I wanted to go ahead and get him out of the active spot and put Dipplin in so that we can utilize that ability as well. We can utilize it right now, being able to find a card, whatever card, thanks to its ability Boom Boom Groove, and that's just a surefire way to search out that stadium. As you can see, in order to attack, we're, spoiler, not attacking here because we don't have the energy to, but getting that established is pretty key. And, you know, Thwackey is really good at finding a specific stadium. Now, here's another Iono on this side. The Iono is gonna be just, we're cycling through the deck, little by little, going further each time. Here we're going to be trying to fill the bench, and we can with that Grookey placement right there. That's going to be something if we decide to. What's the holdup? Passing. I forgot. Alright, yeah. But like I said, unfortunate to not get an attack off because of the energy stuff, but like, that is still pretty good to have things going. You can see things are moving. Now, on the Raging Bolt side, I was having trouble getting a Raging Bolt, you know, that was gonna work. So I did not have another ancient Pokemon, did not have a way to get one, didn't have to have one because I was trying to find like solder or something and trying to get energy in the discard. I did not have the energy in the discard yet. Went ahead with Tail Dance, looking through the hand, deciding to ultimately that, like, we can use Crispin to search out a grass and another energy. We can attach to the Teal Mask Ogrepon potentially or something and make it the attacker to get rid of this Dipplin in the active spot. Stuff like that was kind of the thought process at that point. And so it kind of did turn into that. And putting down because I was able to attach that for turn, I could not really retreat him, so put down Latios, and this is where things kind of were getting a little clunky, where, put down Latios to then have free retreat to move around and put Teal Mask Ogrepon into the active spot to then take out the Dipplin, of course. But although it landed a card, it was an easy return knockout. So as we discussed, we can definitely get there with the right tools and things, and it's not too hard to find. So in this hand, we have a Thwackey we can evolve into again, and then we are able to just utilize Lana, actually, to grab some Dipplins from the discard, at least one, there's an Applin at least, and we can go ahead and evolve into Dipplin with that. We can attach energy from turn, and then we can start to utilize the Thwackey as well, since our festival is in play. We can use their ability to go search. The festival is in play, but no, it's the Dipplin that is really reliant. The Thwackeys are relying on their friend. I was looking at Hassle for a sec there, because, if your Pokemon got KO'd, you can use that, but ultimately trying to find another evolution piece here, just to be set up for the next turn as well. Just getting this guy all together, and then needing a bench spot and needing a tool to get this knockout, because we would be hitting for 200, but 200 wouldn't quite do it with the Ogrepon, so we would need our Vitality Band tool. Now, like I said, with Thwackey, it's very easy. You can see it's really fun being able to just go find what you need. It's super great. What a good feeling. There is our Vitality Band we can get and utilize it to get this KO on the Ogrepon, which is a big swing, which is also locking, the Raging Bolt out of using Noctowl in return, because that Terra Pokemon is gone. 2 prize cards on the Festival Lead Dipplin side, taking this bigger lead, I would say, in the prize race. Now on the other side, the response from Raging Bolt. What is the response from our Raging Bolt? Well, I put down Pheasantipity, and use that, and I'm looking for Area 0, or honestly Jamming Tower, but Area 0 would get us out of here, because then I could bench another Ogrepon and then unlock the Noctowls. I had Noctowl in hand, but no way to get the Ogrepon, because I put down the Fez and stuff, and obviously, kind of a clunky play there, and like I said, did not have the fighting or lightning energy in the discard, so did Sada there, attaching a grass energy, drawing 3 cards, still not getting the stadium at all, and really just not in a good spot. We can attach there and get an attack off, but we're not having energy on the bench at all to, discard from. So here's an Iono to kind of get further, hope again for the stadium card or something that can get us out of this, sticky situation here, I would say. And ultimately, hopefully, disrupt a little bit of the Dipplin side as well. But if they have that Dipplin, Thwackey can be online, It's great. So on the Raging Bolt side, like I said, it was a whiff, and I was able to knock out the Dipplin. That's 2 energy, though, because it's 80 HP. So we did that, and it's a single prize KO. But honestly, on the Festival Lead side, it's not that bad, I would say. So here's our other Dipplin. And from the hand, we have our energy. We have Buddy Poffin to also fill the bench again. We have Arvin, there's some good stuff. So we can attach an energy. I love that it only takes 1 energy. Same with the Hydrapple, just 1 energy. I like that. Then Super Rod. We can go ahead and put some energy and stuff back into the deck. We can make sure that we have a Dipplin and stuff, or we have other guys. And hopefully get another Thwackey online. The Thwackeys are so good. And making sure that we also are ready for the future turns as well, if that stadium gets bumped, because it's really inevitable. Really, it's a surprise to have gotten so far with it sometimes. So here's Buddy Poffin to again fill the bench up to the 5 again, so that we have that number in order to hit. Now, unfortunately, not going to be able to take a KO onto Raging Bolt. I was also keeping an eye out for some gusting options and thinking about that, because although Raging Bolt is pretty big, Pheasantipity and Latios are not as so. So, utilizing Thwackey here to get our ways around things. I was eyeing up that Kieran. Kieran is super helpful with the damage distribution, like I said. Not quite hitting for 240 on this Raging Bolt, I could have if he had a Vitality Band attached and we used Kieran, but unfortunately did not have the Vitality Band again. And so we were having to look at other options. But like I said, and then also trying to think of some way to like maybe even include some gusting options or something too. But ultimately, this turn it did not do that. But we are able to get another Thwacky. We're kind of chaining the Thwackies here now at this point because, and that's really great. It feels great. So then the next Thwacky search is going to be for Dipplin to get our Applin evolved and ready. And then the last Thwacky is eyeing up that letter of encouragement. But no, we're actually going to take a Kieran. There we go. Using that effect for Kieran, we're going to be able to do 200 plus 30. So 230 onto Raging Bolt, not KOing it, but coming very close and passing it off. And like I said, if you're a single prize deck in this position against Raging Bolt, it feels nice. And it also does not activate Fez for the draw because no Pokemon was KO'd. So that is also powerful, leading to this clunky Raging Bolt side that I had like mismangled a little bit. We can sorta get an energy attached, draw 3 cards, but again, the Noctowls and things aren't helpful. You can see I got the Teal Mask Ogerpon, but without Area 0, cannot put it down. Because we also don't have our, like, we can't even use that without our Terra and stuff. It's clunked, you know? So deciding to get Raging Bolt out of the active using Latias and just going for a single prize Pokemon and putting damage onto Dipplin. We aren't able to KO Dipplin. He's got 80 HP, but we do 70 with that Stadium being in play. Now, not ideal, but putting that single prize up there and asking an opponent to have the cards to get that gusting and to make it happen. Now, of course, if we have Dipplin in the active, we have Thwackies, we can get there easily, as you'll see. I think this game was really showing off the engine in full swing, as it turned out. Now, here's a boss's order. Here's also a Stadium to show that you have to, even if you bump the Stadium the next turn, you're gonna have to also hand disrupt if you want significant stuff to happen, you know? So, really great. Going ahead with that boss's orders to get that Raging Bolt, that big threat out of the way. Very good. Now we can just toss it, discard that. That's 2 more prizes really fast. You can see my little Hyper Roma A-Spec, I believe it was, yeah? Did not really use it in this game, obviously, but that's okay. Now on the Raging Bolt side, putting up our single prize Pokemon again. Now we can put down the Teal Mask Ogerpon, but like, it feels clunky. Now we can have access to Noctowl, I mean. With Noctowl, what's the grab? An obvious Stadium bump, even though there's already a Stadium, it's tough. But like, and then there's a Nest Ball as well, because we can now activate Area 0, which means we can use that Nest Ball to expand our bench, get another Raging Bolt, but who do we go for an attacker here? You know what I mean? I think we go with Fan Rotom still, but like, we're on the back foot here, and all that we need on the other side is the gusting. Like I said, it was kind of rough here for Raging Bolt. This does not always happen. But you see it. So energy retrieval to get some energy back. We can Teal Dance with that grass energy. We can attach to Raging Bolt. There's Teal Dance, drawing a card. Oh, man. It was something, though. I mean, maybe earlier in the game, the baby Raging Bolt would have been nice to take some early knockouts and be on top of that. There is Sada for the turn. Trying to utilize stuff, attaching a grass energy there, yeah. The energy nonsense was also a part of this game. Oh boy. And then we have our attacker ready, but like, well, I'm trying to slow the other down by like, hey, take a single prize knockout on this Rotom. So attack with that Rotom, take 1 prize out of that. But yeah, something crazy. Did I? Oh, maybe I didn't take a prize for that. But my bad. You're following me, right? Yeah. Here, boss. Yeah, flash the boss. But again, flash. There's the festival grounds. Put that down. Now we have access to the other Pokemon. We just had to gust one up. Now, this was kind of over already. We could gust up like the Ogerpon and like maybe search something out to do something again. But I wanted to pull off this Hydrapple play just to like show it off, to kind of go through the sequencing to kind of see how to get there. So with Thwacky, we're able to find Hydrapple from the deck. Now with the next Thwacky, we can use Letter of Encouragement because we had a Pokemon KO'd, and we're able to search the deck for 3 energy, but we're using the last Thwacky here to also get Superior Energy Retrieval to get energy as well. We do have 1 energy in hand, But there's our things. We're gonna go with Letter of Encouragement. Like I said, getting 3 energy out of the deck thanks to that KO. And then we can utilize Superior Energy Retrieval. Now, this one you can get up to 4 energy, but we did not have that much. I only had 2 actually in the discard, but that was enough. With the 1 in hand already, we had 6 in order to get this Hydrapple off. Now we just need the boss's order to go ahead and go for a Pokemon. Just go for a Raging Bolt, why not? To be thematic, to just like really hammer it and destroy that threat. Discarding 6 energy cards from hand in order to knock this big beast out. And I know I kind of linger here for a sec, but it's really fun. And this game was like unfortunately clunky for when I was playing the Bolt, but like it was really fun on the Festival Lead side, and I think it really shows the power and stuff that's possible, and it was really entertaining. So discard that, knock out 2 prizes, you know, game's over. Awesome, awesome, awesome. What do you think about that? All right, and now we have another game to showcase for our guy. This is, of course, on 2x speed. We're gonna get into it. This is gonna be Festival Lead versus Hydrapple EX. Yes, Hydrapple EX is a fun deck. I would not call it quite a meme deck, but it's definitely a rogue, not so powerful one right now. But maybe it'll rise. I hope. Anyway, on this Festival Lead side, this is a more version aligned to that Japanese list we saw at first, using the new cards like the Bangle, like Hilda, etc. We're also experimenting a little with the Dragon Applin as well. Get the Applin and the Grookey, and then use Bug Catching set to find that, to use as a searcher to get energy and a Pokemon. I was not too scared of I saw the Shaman and was eyeing up the Shaman for a sec, and I did not really go for it because Hydrapple EX I don't think is really going to be sniping the bench, and so maybe it would have been good to just fill that bench out with the Shaman and stuff anyway, but I grabbed the other energy, so I don't know. This game was also kind of a wonky one for the Hydrapple side and over and around. You can see here's a Hydrapple in hand, but other than that, so the Hydrapple deck, I am looking for, you know, getting set up and stuff. I have Squawkabilly in the deck, and you see that there. I was kind of thinking about the best way to go about that. We also have Teal Mask Ogrepon in the deck. Really a staple in grass decks. We see it in Toedscruel, we see it here. Ultra Ball, I plan to get rid of the hand anyway with Squawk, but first we might as well search out for more Pokemon and check out the deck a little bit more. Now, in here is also Latias, you saw, and then here's the Teal Mask Ogrepon. So from the Teal Dance, we get another Applin, a Dragon guy. We can go ahead and Squawk the hand away to get further and draw a fresh new 6. Lots of just energy and 2 Iono, I think. So much energy on both sides here. The Hydrapple EX deck runs a significantly more amount of energy, I would say. A whole, like, 6 more. I think I had, like, 14 energy in that deck, because you are just going with energy. Here's another Iono play where we just do a quick shuffle the hand, put it at the bottom, and draw 6. Not so much too much disruption, but more like I need to see more. And from that, there's Area 0 actually in this deck as well. Kind of a weird one, but yeah, pass it off with that. Honestly though, not the best setup and board. I need to play more with it because it was fun though. So on the other side, with this new hand, we have Festival Grounds. We can go ahead and bump that stadium immediately to get ours in. And as you can see, somehow I don't have all 4 copies of Festival Grounds. So you have this awesome poorly drawn proxy. Of course, there's another bug catching set. We can grab some grass Pokemon. That's all we have access to in that search of 7 cards. Here's Badoo in this list, in this deck. I think that Badoo can come in clutch, and so bench that. Like I said, always trying to be conscious about filling the bench to a degree and stuff. Iono here as well, just to cycle through the deck. For sure. We might as well. We're trying to find stuff. We're trying to make stuff work. But yeah, it's something, man. I think that... targeting thing. There's the Thwackies and whatnot. And here's... Okay, this was something. So I had another Dipplin, not Festival Lead Dipplin in there, just another guy. And like... that was probably not a great idea. I think this was like my first iteration trying this stuff. So honestly, ignore that. But hey, at least we got our Thwackies up. And we, like I said, I think in that moment, I'm like, why in the world am I doing this? But it's okay. We have Badoo. We can slow things down. We'll slow things down with Itchy Pollen. And that's what we end up doing. Itchy Pollen onto that Applin. is gonna mean item lock on the other side, which is super tough at times. So from the hand, I had Mew EX, here's another guy coming down. This game, I was having such trouble getting Hydrapple into play at all. I had rare candies in the deck, I had even like a Dipplin or so in the middle to maybe hit a middle stage, but did not end up doing it, I believe, in this game. We have Latias here because wanted to maybe just have someone else who was going to tank or something for a sec there, but again, not the greatest decision, I would say. We're gonna have to roll it back. But on the other side, with not much to do on the other, yeah. So anyway, we're gonna fill the bench with this Buddy Poffin. This Buddy Poffin is going to put down some more Applin and stuff, and hopefully this turn, like I said, I'm like a whole step behind because of that one Dipplin evolution a little bit, but like I'm showing just to show you a good time what I'm thinking, you know, it's all just trying the fun, weird stuff. So here's a bench with them. Sorry it's a little slightly cut off a little bit, but Professor researched the hand away and draw a fresh 7 cards to keep going. With Badoo, I felt more comfortable though, like kind of being slow and doing weird stuff. So from that hand, there wasn't much. So went ahead with the Itchy Pollen and item lock once more. Now, the good thing too is that like that 10 damage tick from Itchy Pollen is so good for Dipplin not needing a Vitality Band to take that thing down later or in the next turn. Now, for Hydrapple, again, no items. Deciding to, in fact, oh man, I couldn't do anything really. Item lock is rough. We all know. Okay, draw for turn. Hilda is there. We can look at, we have Dipplin. Here's Hilda to hopefully get the last Dipplin, let's say. There we go. And an energy card. And then now things can come online with our festival lead and actually start swinging. And that Ogrepon's going to be toast. I think you know what's coming. So here's an energy onto Dipplin. Retreat Badoo. Go into the active spot. Go ahead with our festival shenanigans, making sure that, you know, we can now KO it since we are hitting for 200 and it had that damage tick. So really nice. But before we do that, we're going to search the deck and stuff. We're going to get Thwacky underway. We are going to get Brave Bangle, might as well use these tool cards. Like I said, we didn't need it for this one KO, but like for future ones, nice to have the tool attached. So I went ahead and got 2 of those. Attached one and then attached the other to a Dipplin, and then it was, you know, now kind of like go time. Let's do it. Festival grounds in play, going and attacking for 100 and then again 100 and the, yeah. And for the bangle, yeah, but like I said, it did not matter. It was going down. It was going down. All right. So with that done, that's 2 prizes. Awesome. I think with the festival lead deck, if you're going 2-2-2, it's really good. I really prefer that, so that's why I like the gusting options, but I can see maybe another build of like going slower with the Badoo like I mentioned. I don't know, we'll see. So Latias is up on the other side, really needing to respond with a Hydrappler song, with more Pokemon, with Going, with a Stadium Bomb, etc. and stuff. Unfortunately, it was tough, even with this bug catching set. You would think I was grabbing this guy, but no, I had some Applins. Here's another Ogrepon, grabbed an energy. Oh boy. Now, and like I said, need to find the stadium and stuff, and it's scary with the Squawk on the bench too, in these stages where, you know, now the Thwackies can just find whatever, and then we tail dance, but everybody has just like 1 energy. No one's ready to attack, I would say, unless we want to do Find a Friend Dipplin. You know what I mean? I mean Applin. Oh my goodness. With that, I mean, obviously we're gonna get Latias out of the active spot, but what do we do first? Energy retrieval, we can attach for turn, but that's about it. It's not 3 energy onto Ogrepon, it's only gonna be 2, so he is not gonna help out with the attacking aspect. We are gonna retreat, go into the Zapplin. You can have it. I'd rather you take a single prize Pokemon knockout and make sure you need the gusting. Yeah, all that, as you can imagine. On the other side, yeah, not too... Incredible stuff is happening with the festival lead deck. Oh boy. So, we can go ahead with this and progress further. Like I said, let's play out the turn though, getting set up for the next. So we can go ahead and boss, but we will use our thwackies as well still, since we should probably work to get the most out of them. So yeah, let's do that first and foremost. Now, at this stage, like I said, trying to knowing that hand disruption is always a possibility, let's say, wanting to get set up with stuff. I was also just grabbing tools. I did not use Arvin, I don't think, at all really in this game, but there's the maximum belt tool card, and yeah, I think it's good. I mean, the Festival Lead deck is pretty straightforward, but if it works, it works. There's 2 more prizes we were able to got that Ogre Pawn done. There's no energy switch I'm running on the other side, which is unfortunate. So, like, this was an unfortunate little game here, but put that up for now. Draw for turn, it's energy. Man, I did not want to bench a Mew EX. I couldn't get my hand down, even if I benched the Mew EX. I was able to, we can Super Rod, might as well, to get these guys, some of this stuff back into the deck. But it was really kind of dire, I would say, and yeah, I think it was a good showing. I hate that I used that other Dipplin though. I mean, he looks a little out of place, but you gotta try stuff out. That's what living is. Let's try new things. Anyway, we attach that. No Hydrapple. My goodness. Let me know if you want some Hydrapple action. We can do that, a more profile on it. I like the deck, but this this was an Applin deck. This was just Applin. And Tail Mask Ogre Pawn. Now, we can get the attack off, but again, it's kind of like, yeah, they're just gonna respond with, there's Hydra. Yeah, we were able to kind of get Hydrapple, but then Rare Candy was an issue. Oh man, so much stuff happening. Here's another bug hitching. We're going through the hand, you know, having fun. There's more energy. My goodness. But it was fun. It's so fun. It is really fun playing the little rogue decks, or the harder ones, the jankier ones. So put Tail Mask Ogre Pawn up here. Go ahead with the attack, and you can get the KO, but what else? We can easily get this finished, closed out, and that's exactly what we go to do. Festival grounds did not get disrupted at all during this, so that's really handy. You gotta watch out for that, because, you know, it can get bumped or moved away, but I think with the thwacky... There we go, end the game, yeah. Pretty much. Alright. Pitfalls here would be, once again, it's kind of a predictable deck, which is fine, but, like, if it runs, it runs, and, like, sometimes the deck can struggle like other decks, but I really wanted to kind of showcase it, and showcase, you know, the oddity of it, because it came out a while ago, I would say, but now it's really cool to see it in the spotlight again, even as just a meme deck. So cool. Yeah! Well, hopefully that was helpful. Hopefully it was entertaining. Hope you had as much fun as I did going through Festival Lead. I love the meme, the rogue decks. I think we all do. We like seeing the oddity stuff work and function when it can. You know, sometimes things don't go your way. Sometimes you can brick with this thing, just like any other deck. Sometimes it's really hard against certain matchups, but, you know, at the end of the day, it's a super fun deck. I was happy to see Jared Grimes rocking it at NAIC. I like seeing it pop up, and I hope we can see more of it. Let me know your thoughts down below, though. Let me know if you've played it, if you have experience, if you're going to build stuff, if I missed stuff, if you think you should include something else. All that is really helpful and relevant. Don't forget to like the video if you enjoyed it and you want to help with the algorithm and stuff. It really makes a difference, really helps. Subscribe for more content in the future if you enjoyed this stuff, but even if not, I thank you so much for watching. It means so much to me. Hope I can continue to make more stuff and up the production, and, you know, like, get more out that people can find entertainment with, and education and all that, and just leave with a feeling of like, oh, I want to play that, I want to try that. So I do care about that stuff. So hopefully it was good. All right, thank you so much for listening. I hope you have a great day. Bye.